situation is the buyer says, we're just going to wait until rates come back to 3%. And now the objective is show the cost of waiting using future pacing and loss aversion effects. So again, I get it. I get it. I get it. And there is a tone to I get it. That means you do get it. It's not
Yeah.
condescending. It's I get it. I really do get it. Everyone. I have not met anyone who does not want the best deal, and I know you want the best deal. So let's just play with that for a moment. Dan, talk a little bit about the power of softeners.
Yeah. So the first softener is I get it. And, everyone wants the best deal. It's a truism. There's no one out there who's going to be saying, I really don't want the best deal right now. And the next words are really magical. So let's play this out for a moment. Let's play with this for a moment. It's not the end of the way, it's play,
Mhm.
right? They've got a serious thing that's on their mind. And what we're going to do is we're going to play, we're going to pretend, and we're not going to play permanently. We're just going to play for a moment.
Mm.
We're not asking to change their mind about everything. We're asking them to consider, to play, to knock this around, to consider options for a moment.
Mhm. So let's say you wait 2 years for the rates to drop. What do you think happens when rates hit 3% again? Buyers flood the market. Home prices shoot up. And suddenly that house you love today isn't just more expensive, it's actually harder to get. There's a confusion technique that's being used too right now. Is where you're jumbling up somebody's argument, like they have to change their position right now, from saying waiting for 3%, because it's undeniable. If rates drop to three, a ton of people are going to enter the market, prices are going to go up, and then what's going to happen? That's People haven't looked at the consequences of waiting. Like, what is the cost of doing that? And the best buyers don't wait. They don't. I love that we're creating an avatar and we're wondering, are you one of the best buyers or are you one of the bad buyers? The best buyers don't wait for the market. They make the market work for them. And right now, we have negotiating power. And I love that we have negotiating power. It's an active assumption. You're assuming that role. Sellers are offering concessions in some markets, and you can buy down your rate or refinance later. But once demand surges, these options disappear. Talk about that, Dan, because that's the avoidance, the aversion avoidance.
Yeah, and demand will surge and options will disappear because we've all lived that before. And what we're not saying in this script that well aware of is that time when you had 24 hours to put in an offer and people were waiving home inspections. I couldn't think of a worse thing to do than to buy a home as is without inspecting it. And that is the loss of control that they're giving up. But once demand surges, those options will disappear. Those are some really important options that are going to go away, that are going to be taken out because half of us make buying decisions based on moving towards something, and another half of us make decisions about moving away from something. And at least half of the population will only take action if something is being taken away from them.
Speak to this for a minute because this is such a strong um, image. Is that
Yeah.
the real question is, do you want to compete when the market is on fire, or do you want to secure your home while you have the advantage? That's the real question.
That's just a really great language pattern to always keep in your back pocket. And it will work for anytime anyone's questioning something. And we can tell them that, well, that's one question, but the real question is, do you want to compete when the market is on fire? Or do you want to secure your home while you have this advantage? And it works. I see some people are putting other objections in the chat right now. try this language pattern out. Well, the real question isn't X, the real question is Y. The real question is, do you want to have more control?
Yeah, well said. So
Again, we've got future pacing, loss aversion, and fear of missing out. And so if somebody's actually waiting for 3%, which either you nor me could even begin to predict if that will ever happen again. If you made me bet right now, I would say not for very, very many years. And what they don't realize is that the risks and costs associated with their strategy of waiting, and they're making a decision based on a single factor, an interest rate, rather than considering the complete market picture. And that's our job, is to take a single focused objection and turn it into a bigger picture market. And as Joe said when we began, it's not the market, it's their market.
yeah.
And there's the future pacing again.
Yeah. So just a little thought on future pacing is that we have three selves. We have a past self, a present self, and a future self. And most people are not accessing their future self when they're making a decision. They're accessing their past self. They're looking backwards. They're looking at the past. They're saying, well, I'm waiting for 3% to come back to the present. Like sort of they're looking backwards and trying to make what happened in the past their current reality. And future pacing is getting them to move out of that. And the simple words, let's just play with this for a moment. Just play with this. And it invites the client to step out of present self and go into future self by creating some visual. So imagine it's 2 years from today. Just think about this, 2 years from today, and you're looking back at today. Like that's accessing the future self in relationship to the present self. And that's what we're looking at doing, is when people are looking at the cost of waiting, is they have to let go of their past self, move out into the future, and then make the decision from here, not from their present self. And Dan, speak about the power of loss aversion, because most people will move away from a fire faster than they move towards a fire engine. Like if there's a house is on fire, you're getting away from the fire, you're not running towards the water.
And that's what people are saying when they're talking about interest rates that were another number in the past. They're saying that there's regret involved in their lack of action that they took before, and they're just painting out. They're telling you that I'm someone who has loss aversion, is what they're telling you. And so whenever that happens, we go into the future with the future pacing and look back to today, because things are always going to change. And so we just have to change the loss aversion to, yep, you didn't buy when houses were this price. You didn't buy when the interest rates were that price. But let's, imagine 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, looking back to today, and you're going to revivify that loss for them so they don't make the mistake again. Because that's what they're about to do, is if they wait, they're about to make the same mistake again.
And in truth, that's what they've been doing the entire time anyway. They've been waiting and waiting and waiting until they had enough money, waiting until they're the right age, waiting. When is the wait over? I love that thought, the whole FOMO, which is a very powerful way to help people see how their current behavior is impacting their future life. I've heard somebody say the opposite of FOMO is JOMO. What JOMO is? The
joy of missing out.
The joy of missing out. So you don't want to have, you want to have FOMO at this moment. You don't want to have JOMO. So let's look at our next script.